Hello survivors and welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video I'm going to be doing the faction trial stage 12 for the Piercers faction. As you can see, I have done 10 and 11 already, and 10, 11, 12 are pretty much identical. The only difference is 10 does require you to place 10 heroes of the Star Piercers faction to actually get the 3 stars. If you follow what I'm about to do, you're going to have that happen. 11 and 12 are exactly the same. 12 just has obviously boosted stats. The recommended BP goes up by like 15k. Nothing too crazy, but it is enough that you might have to re-gear a couple of times. We have got Lunaria as our Star Piercers like Lords. It's going to give us 1 range, and this is actually required for how I'm going to do things. The 2 tanks for each of the portals are going to be Livian and also Apsan. Livian's kind of self-explanatory. She's just going to be tanked out and do her thing. Apsan is going to be also tanked out, and he needs to be in a Lunacy Visor to get the +1 block. Otherwise, you are going to run into a lot of issues. Unless you have someone who has heavy nuke that can take out one of the little scorpions in the 3s that come along, because he can't block more than 2 otherwise. Calypso's got a bit of damage on her. She's only going to be placed for a bit of the fight. It's just to get a little bit of damage out while I have her placed. I do not do much with Idril, so I put her in Invigoration, and she's going to buff my Silas. Lily's in Massive Attack, just to get as much healing out as possible. Silas, I obviously want to blow up the boss straight away. And to do that, I need to do it in 2 ults, realistically, for my timings. And I need that Invigoration from Idril to do that. Then the next 3, Nyx, Brienne, and Razak, are all kind of AoE, hopefully working together to a reasonable extent to deal with the Scorpions and primarily those self-destructors that can be quite problematic as well. I'll just walk through it as I place characters. We're going to place down Silas first. Get as much damage off as possible early on. We'll also place down Idril to give Invigoration. We can sell her instantly. So you can see, without his ultimate, he's doing like not even 0.1% per attack. It gets a little bit less than that. With the eyeball, it's a bit better. Now, I will say, the second this cocoon ends, you have to pop this ult, because the time between this cocoon ending and the next one being put on him is pretty much the length of his ult, and you need to do 50% of the max HP of the enemy in that time. So he should come out of the cocoon right now, pop the ult straight away, and do as much damage as possible. Fingers crossed we get to below 50%. That's the plan, at least. And we'll put Lily down here. She'll be able to heal Apsan, Livian when I place her, and also for the moment she'll be able to heal Silas. Now, as you can see, we have got the enemy to just below 50%. Just. It was close. It was close. We're not going to use Brienne's ult just yet, because there are some other enemies coming in. We're going to try and time it with the ult of Razak to actually hit 5 enemies rather than just 2. So these 5, as long as we take out these 5 before the next 3 come, as you can see, the Lunacy Visor is kind of required. I'm going to pop this, and we're going to pop this straight away. Hopefully both of these together will be enough to take out this group. Very nice. Then I put down Calypso just to help deal with the enemies coming in. We will sell Calypso later on. She doesn't do crazy damage. It's like, 10 to 15k a hit. And then Livian gets placed on the bottom portal. The next cocoon's coming in for Silas. There we go. And then when this cocoon expires, I have to pop him straight away to actually finish off the boss. And then we sell Silas. Pretty much as simple as that. The timings are pretty solid. You can focus on each part by itself. Next, we're going to place Nyx up the top. And she is going to be looking down. These first 2 cocoons will blow pretty much straight away. I think there's some RNG on these enemies, like where they walk to. Sometimes she can only attack 1 with her AoE. Sometimes she attacks more. So she's attacking more this time, which is quite important. I think on the previous, like 11, I was only attacking less. We sell Silas the second he deals with the enemy, and then we place in Lunaria. Now you see that this boss has been in here for a little while. It hasn't taken, or this armored enemy has been in here for a while. Lunaria starts to pop off, honestly. Starts to hit for like up to 30k with some hits once the ult goes off as well. It isn't too bad. It isn't too bad. She will be able to take down an enemy. Okay. Now we need to deal with these characters, hopefully. There we go. It was worth the lack of risk of it going wrong. So we should actually be able to deal with this first one by itself. Now this is a big test if you do follow what I'm about to do. Can Apsan tank these two guys for long enough? He needs to tank them honestly for like over a minute. Over a minute. It is not great. You need good healing from Lily. And good damage reduction as well. It looks decent though. It looks decent. As long as your Livian's tanky enough, you won't have to heal her as often. She has a bit of self-heal. I'm going to sell Calypso. Play Silas. And they'll both be basic attacking the same enemy here. And then it will instantly lighten the load on what Apsan has to deal with. As you see, one of the enemies is going to be taken out very soon. We're not going to pop Silas's ult until these guys at the top start walking down. That's the idea anyway. I'm going to pop the ult with Nyx the second I can, like right now. I want to do as much damage here as possible. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it's decent amount of damage that comes out here. This is pretty much the moment. This is the moment. Is this the dagger? Because like, everything can go right and everything can go very wrong. So I'm going to pop Silas right now as the enemies start walking down. Nyx is doing very nice damage. We're going to pop him. And we're going to pop her now as well. We need the exploders to all die. Oh no. Okay, we might be okay. We might be okay. We might be okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. They should target the little ones at the top, I hope. Fingers crossed. We need to get rid of one of these. Just one, just one. Yes. And that's it. That's it. As long as you can get rid of the... Like, because of the Lunacy Visor, he can tank 3. And we've managed to get it done. We've managed to get it done. Bit shaky. Bit shaky, but job done. It was a lot easier on 10 and 11, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. I don't think any ultimates are going to hit the enemies that they're attacking right now, but I'll try. Apparently, like, it's just into the circle. Can I do this? Yep. Okay. If they can't hit the enemies that they're somehow hitting right now, you can just sell them and then like put down Idril or Calypso and look down and stuff. But that's stage 12 completed. Should be 3-star, fingers crossed. It is indeed. And this is my third stage 12 done. If we back out, I should have an advancement here. There we go. So it's another one to 36. As you see, I've got Esotericist to 36, which is honestly really important. I have got a video on my channel about that. Yeah, we're progressing quite well. Some of them are impossible for me. For instance, I think Infernal's pretty hard, and so is Nightmare. Like, I don't have any like arrogance or anything like that. So I'll just show you my gear and stuff on those characters, just so you can kind of see. Obviously, I just put all my best gear from all my characters onto these characters. It's simple as that. Silas has his normal gear. So he has the gear I use in Guild Boss pretty much. So I have effectively treated that enemy at the beginning like Guild Boss. Just blow him up. Just blow him up as quickly as possible. We also have a maxed out Siphon on this character, which is quite important. Get as much damage out as possible. And then we have Razak. He's in okay gear. As you can see, not crazy. He doesn't ult too much. So if you can get anything else but this set, Soulbound Arcana, it would maybe be better. But I don't have like too many other sets, you know, Infernal Roar and stuff like that. I wish I did, but I don't. When it comes to the artifact, he's got a maxed out Sharpshooter Crest, or at least a 22. And this does help. I'd say he's probably the best usage for this because he can hit the most opponents. And it just seems to have the biggest impact on him. You could potentially put it on Nyx instead. You know, it depends on how you want to do things. Her gear is some Ageless Wrath stuff. I don't have too much of this stuff. It's okay. It's not crazy good. I have one Ancient, but you can see it's okay. It's okay. The artifact is just a base Sharpshooter's Crest. I can hopefully make a new one. If I go to swap, you can see I've got quite a few low levels that I might actually be able to tier up, which would be quite nice. Next up on the gear, we actually didn't have an item on Calypso. Probably should have put Aura. I think I switched out her weapon to someone else. She wasn't in the fight for that long, honestly, but it could have been a little bit easier. But when it got really, really crazy difficult was when I'd already sold her, because I placed down Silas, and that's where everything has to be timed well with the AoE. So it's not too important that I mess this up. So this character, you could maybe even try and go for another invigoration set if you wanted to try and place it. You could maybe invigorate Nyx at the top and then help her with that initial damage. That wouldn't necessarily actually be a bad idea, to be honest. So you didn't have to use Calypso. You could use whoever you want. But yeah, Calypso, it was okay. It was okay. Now here I went with reasonably tanky gear. I've got some decent pieces here. Nothing like top tier, but they're all pretty decent. Unfortunately, there's the odd like crit rate here and you know, crit multiplier and all that stuff. But we have decent stats. He tanked it reasonably well, plus 5,000 defense nearly. And then I gave him that Lunacy Visor, like I said, which I think is quite important. Just for the increase in block, he did a little bit of self-heal as well. But it's mainly the block, which is very important. Then Brienne, I think she is in part of my Cetrum's gear. And she's, again, quite important to do as much damage as possible. I gave her Shadow's Gaze, because she doesn't hit the same target with her ult, I don't think it works with Siphon. At least it didn't seem to. I used Siphon on the next character, which is going to be Lunaria, who's, again, in only okay gear. I haven't got like massive amounts of depth in my gear sets. I've got 2 or 3 good pieces, like good sets, but then it gets a bit thin. But she did okay. She did okay. And then her artifact is that secondary Siphon. And then lastly, at least lastly for the damage dealers, we have the Invigoration set on Idril. I don't know what's on her. I think it's just her Idril's Gaze, yeah. We only placed her to Invigorate, no problem. And then another tanky character, we have her with none. Okay, I messed up here as well. See, this is what happens when you're having to swap a lot. I would definitely put on a Bastion's Ring, though, just to give her a bit more magic damage reduction and physical damage reduction. That would actually help in terms of the healing, but apparently I didn't need it. She is very tanky if you gear her correctly anyway. And then lastly you had Lily, and she was just getting a little bit of extra healing effect based on, you know, how many teammates are around her. And I just went with all over the place gear just to give her as much attack as possible. So I went for attack bonus as main stat, healing effect as the second, and flat attack as well. So she's got pretty decent attack, 9.5k. I probably could have gone for an attack based set as well for the plus 25% attack. But these items weren't too bad, so I just thought, hey, I'll throw it to Zoom. And it worked. It worked. We got there. Star Piercers are complete. And I remember when I first tried 10, yeah, it was impossible. So I'm very happy to complete that. Now we've got Power of Dominance. I don't know how easy it will be to do going forward unless I have to re-gear my entire squad again. We'll have to wait and see. But that's it, guys. Hopefully this has been useful for you in some way. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.